Okay, my wonderful friends, I've been meaning to do this for quite a while now. I am going to call this the confusing concretion conundrum, which means nobody knows how these are made. They're all over the place. Look at this. These are what they call Moki marbles. You see them? Some of them are hollow on the inside. Some of them have like cross hatches. Some of them have little rings around the outside. Some of them are, all kinds of different shapes and styles and so forth. And depending upon where they are when they turn into a fossil, because these are all biological, believe it or not, and I will show you, this will blow your mind. In the mud, they turn like this. In the deserts, for some reason, I don't know exactly why, these ones here turn like metal almost. They call them blueberries, and not here on Earth, but in Mars they do. They call them blueberries, and they're all over the place. These are in southern Utah, but here they are on Mars, which is the Mars blueberries. Same stuff, because Mars is identical to Earth, only it was impacted by Venus not that long ago and left a scar bigger than the United States on Mars and squashed life out of Mars. And that's why it's a red planet, because red is from blood and iron. Okay, my friends, you could find this very interesting, or you could find this very amusing. That's up to you. This is ExoMars, back on track for the red planet. So this is the European Space Agency, and they're going to go up there and see what's going on, see if they can figure things out. Let's see what they have to say.
Has life ever existed on Mars? And could life have survived and evolved for billions of years? In their insatiable quest to find life in other parts of the universe, humans have often looked at the red planet. After all, Mars is a rocky planet like Earth, orbiting the Sun and at a distance where water could have been present in the past. We are unlikely to find Martians on Mars, but tiny traces of ancient rivers, lakes or even oceans could give us fresh clues about whether some sort of life could have developed.
Alright, well, let's see if we can find any clues. Alright, get ready, because here it comes. This was from Curiosity mission in 2014. They not only found the Mars blueberries, they found this, which is the Mars Morse code. Now, if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know exactly what this is. It is interstitium, which means these blue balls, these are the blueberries, had straps attached to them. In the area where the blueberries are shown, the straps are gone. Here, they still have some attached. This is where the skin is stretched out, and here's where it's gathered. And here's where it's just sort of just laying around normal. That's what interstitium does. It can stretch and make you come back. Here's what interstitium is in anatomical view of it, right here. That's the interstitium right there. These are all the little balls. These are all the little spaces of fluids, and there's the skin. This is what it looks like in the Moki marbles. But this is very, very highly magnified. You see this little bullet pointing to there? That's this bullet here. And here, all of this stuff is all of those little balls. And then when you get way down, you find that there's all the little straps and balls and all these fluid-filled spaces, which is exactly this right here. And guess what this is? These are the Moki marbles. So are these, only these are a little bigger. This is in Hunstanton Beach or Hunstanton Cliffs, something like that, United Kingdom. These were all in this wall, exactly like they would have been in this wall if this was the ocean. And the ocean washed it away and washed it away and washed it away. You'd see the layer of skin at the top. You'd see the red layer here. And all of these balls, which would not turn into mud. This all turns into mud. It's all fleshy, gooey, but they're not the black spots, not the balls. they would lay down on the bottom in mud. Well, can we see that? Yes, we can absolutely see that. And there it is. There's the mud from the wall, and here's the balls from the walls. Here's the skin up above. And there's a layer in here, right here, which is the fluid-filled highway, the interstitium. Very, very interesting layer. Now, this particular area here, there was enough erosion that it washed all the mud away. So we don't see the mud, we just see the balls. Alright, so what I have shown you is the interstitium with the balls and the straps, the Mars blueberries, which are the balls without the straps. On Earth, the same thing here, the Moki marbles and these gigantic ones, so, you know, out in Huntington Beach. Now, let's take a look at something else. Let's take a look at the Mars crab. Okay, you see this? That's the Mars crab right there. Now, let's see it magnified up above. We'll see it. You see what it is? It looks like a crab. That's why they said, ooh, look at this Mars crab, and there was a big thing about it, and then it just got forgotten about. Well, I know exactly what this is. This is an artery, and this is a vein. The vein brings the blood back up to the heart to be recycled and cleaned. The artery pumps the blood down and then into all of these layers of tissue to feed every single blood cell. I mean, every single cell in your body has to be refreshed with blood and minerals and glucose and all those different things, oxygen, continuously, 24 hours a day until you die. Well, obviously this thing is dead. And this was a gigantic, gigantic creature, exactly like they are on Earth. Exactly. What is this feeding? It's feeding muscle. Can I prove that? Absolutely. There's the muscle. You see, well, that doesn't look like muscle to me. Well, it does to me. You see that break right there? You see the break, you see the break, you see the break, you see the break, the break, the break, the break, the break, the break, the break. And then you see all these little tiny layers here. And then you see where I say the blood is feeding this tissue. Can I show you that in some of my specimens? Well, of course. Before I show you my specimen, I want you to see what sarcomeres are like anatomically. So let's anatomicalize them. Alright, this is what sarcomeres look like right there. Precisely what you saw. They erode here, they erode here, they erode here, erode here. All of the red stuff erodes out and you get all these little layers of connective tissue. Because when they pull together, this is how they come. That's how they end up after they pull together. And these blocks are tiny. I mean tiny. On Mars, they're pretty good size. On Earth, there's places where they're very good size too, like Petra. And I'll show you Petra before we're done, which has sarcomeres all over the place. Now, so we saw this. We saw the Mars sarcomeres. Where's my sarcomeres at Mars? Here they are right here. All right, now let's see if we can see some more indications of that I'm correct. How about this? These are sarcomeres in living tissue. They're striated muscle. There's different types of muscles. This is the coating that wraps around the muscles, which is this fibrous membrane. Basically, it's the interstitium. So now, then you come, this is the fluid-filled highway. So you got your interstitium, fluid-filled highway. You got your muscle. And this is what it looks up closer. And this is what it looks right up next to it, as I showed you before in the anatomical ones. All of the red stuff erodes out, and you end up with these stripes. Right down. And then all the little flares going sideways, which is precisely what you see on Mars. There it is right there. No difference whatsoever. Absolutely 100%. And all of this red dust is the eroded red fleshiness that was inside of these sarcomere connective tissue slabs. And they just erode out, and that's why the red planet is red. And it was impacted long ago. Well, I don't even know if it was that long ago, to be perfectly honest with you. But this was the impact. It got hit, and this was recorded. Velikovsky talks about this. It was, in history, it was recorded. It impacted, scraped right along here, and at that same time, pretty much destroyed Mars. You know, that was... You cannot take a gigantic planet and smash it into another gigantic planet and expect everything to end up okay. It's just not going to work out. So we have seen the impact. We've seen all of the tendon balls. We've seen Mars, the crab, and it feeding the muscle and the sarcomeres. Boom, boom. Look at this. This is what happened over in Turkey. You see this right here? Muscle, which we know this is muscle now. You just saw it. There was no question. I showed you what they actually looks like. And this is it. This is it right here. This is the most preserved muscle you're ever going to see. And this is inside of a mud fossil. This is where all of that red blood would saturate to feed all of this. This is a lot of blood you need to do this, especially when you start running and jumping and jogging and all that stuff. You need a lot of blood. That's what pumps in here. Now, in Turkey, where they had a huge collapse, it was on the side of a hill running down like this. One of these opened up and ran down, and it left a huge cavity underneath the top of the hill, and the whole hill collapsed. And you can see all of these blocks. I showed it very well. Never had anybody contact me whatsoever. And Turkey was talking about somebody dropping some kind of underground bomb or who knows what. They're trying to destroy this and that. Everybody's got a conspiracy going. Nobody will take a look at the actual obviousness of the truth. I showed this without any question. You can see these blocks. Unbelievable. And then all they have to do is look down and see if they see this stuff down at the bottom underneath. What happened is it washed out, poof, and they dropped. So people got to start opening up their eyes to this obvious stuff. All right, this mud fossil research has opened up a vast new array of understanding, even like this. Millions of years in one picture. That's not millions of years. That's just however long it took the creature to die. That is, right there is muscle and tendon tissue. And that is, there's a little section of tendon that comes off of probably, well, let me show you mine. This is, remember this, you see that weaving back and forth? That's like muscle-ish. That is 100% connective tissue, very, very strong. This was, and this again here, up here. So this was a tendonish area that led to flesh, which for flesh erodes very easily. Now I'll show you on mine. Here's the one I have in my shop right here. All right, and this was a bone right here, some kind of bone, whatever. And then there's like a little gluey area that glues this piece, which is tendon. See, it's brown and this one's pink. The brown is just almost no blood in it. And that's the layers I showed you in that piece that was sticking up. I believe that's exactly what this is, because tendon is tough. All right, so this is all the same stuff that I'm showing you above. And that cavity right there was all where all that blood was. Almost identical. You see this? To the Mars crab. It was feeding all of these sarcomeres. And blood runs, these are arteries, boom, 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 running blood out to feed all of that muscle activity. These are the sarcomeres. They're broken right off here. These are very, very small compared to the ones you see on Mars, and they're not eroded away. But that piece right there, I believe, was that thing that said 150 million years in one piece or whatever it said. This thing here, yeah. 100 or millions of years in one picture. No, that was, and this all happened about, if you go with Velikovsky, and I do now, all of this is on the surface of the Earth. There is virtually nothing buried. All of these are just laying on top of the surface of the Earth. And same thing with Mars. That's on the surface. It's not even buried. These Moki marbles is laying there. Same thing, the Moki marbles here. I mean, the blueberries. The Moki marbles here is laying there. Everything I have, all of my mud fossils, I just picked up off the ground. I didn't have to dig for them. So what I'm saying is everything we've been thought we knew is not what correct. You see this? This is a muscle mountain. That's all the tendinous material, and then it leads up again, like the same thing here, goes into the muscle fibers. They just run off because they erode easily. This is the tough stuff. And that's a mountain. This is the guy's back window in his van. So it's fairly good size. Now, what have I not shown you? This is something new they're showing up on Mars. Believe me, this has got to do with biology. And we have sinkholes all over Earth that are like these. And I don't know if these are sinkholes. I think they may be bubbled up. I'm not certain. I can see some light is hitting here, 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 here. Is it hitting from this way or is it hitting from this way? I think it might be hitting from this way, and these are bubbled up. But I can't be sure of either of that. But these are that. Yeah, I don't even want that picture. See you later, picture. Now, oh, what haven't I showed you? Well, I showed you this, how small these little balls are, and they're everywhere. They're just literally everywhere. And there's different styles, and there's different chemistry to them, and that's because of the different places that they're in the body. There's some that are on your abdomen and places like that that hold all your flesh together. They are a certain type, and they're this kind here. All right, and probably these are the same thing, because this is nothing more than skin. On organs, it's different. Organs have a dense membrane, especially if it's a lung. Hold on one second. Let me show you something. All right. This has a million of these little balls too. They're everywhere, saturated with them, with all of these little fibers. This is a lung. It's been DNA tested, CAT scanned. It's human. It's flat because of the flood, and I believe everything died in that flood. And now Yale agrees. They agree. There was a worldwide layer, one layer around the whole Earth, where all of this stuff preserved perfectly, which is my mud fossils. And they don't know why. I do, because Velikovsky recorded it was almost hit by Venus, the Earth. It cooked everything for 7 days as it approached. Everything got hot and started combusting. The people were jumping in the rivers to try to stay from burning up, and it just snipped off the edge of our atmosphere and really literally combusted the Earth, and it caused all the floods and everything. And then it also had enormous electrical discharges, and the electrical discharges, I believe, is what caused the fascia to take on aluminum silicate fusion, because aluminum and silicates, see, aluminum and silicates are right next to each other on a periodic chart. And for some reason, the electrical discharge, I believe, forced the aluminum and silicates within the collagen to fuse and create these it's called fascia. And there'd be different types of aluminum silicates depending upon whether it was in your skin or whether it was in your lungs, your heart, your kidney, your pancreas, everywhere. So, and they know this. So there's not a big. They now know, and Yale has confirmed this. If I'm wrong, I want them to say, "No, Roger, we never confirmed that. You're wrong." I can show you they confirmed it because I can show you their paper. I have it up here somewhere. Here it is right here. This is Derek Briggs. He's the guy at Yale that refused to see my stuff. And I showed him my stuff back from 2012 onwards. We had big fights going back and forth. 2016, he's taken credit for exceptional preservation of soft bodies promoted by silica-rich oceans. It happened fast, it happened globally, which means a worldwide flood. Where is it? Right here. Here it is. Rapid precipitation of silica cements. That's all it was. It was in the oceans. The state of the ocean prior to the appearance of these perfectly preserved mud fossils. And it's all in one layer around the Earth. And he's now taking credit for discovering this, which I presented to him and he rejected for years. And I also had DNA evidence. I had CAT scans, I had specimens, and I'm 20 miles from Yale, and Derek Briggs refused to see it, and now he's taking credit for it on 2016. All right, so looking past the fact that somebody's stealing my research, this is what pleura looks like. You see how dense that is? That's totally different than fascia. Fascia is a very thin film that coats everything, but your lung is different. Your lung has to do this. It's like a rubber bag all day long. Boom, 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 boom. That's why you need tight junctions in your lungs. There's something called tight junctions in the membrane. So otherwise, you're always doing this. And if all it's got to do is break through a membrane, you get sick. Because there's a lot of stuff that's in the air that can make you sick. And again, that one's flat. They're all flat. And even Caesar here, my buddy, my goose. Here's his feathers and everything. He died in the flood too. Flat on one side and perfect on the other. Caesar Augustus. He's my best friend. That's what we got. Reality in front of your face. Okay, I'm just going to finish it up. I just got this, came in today from a guy named Paul Amatucci. I don't know him. He's wrote a couple of books about my research and points to me as discovering this stuff and having exposed it for a long time. Nice little books. And this one was the first one he sent to me. And again, I have not spoken to Paul. I would like to. And I'd like to see him write one about my light research, and I'll be willing to work with him and show it. But that was, I thought, was pretty nice. And here is the ISBN number. Hold on, let me get a little light on here. All right, if you want to order these, I don't think they're expensive. I'm pretty sure they're not expensive to speak of. And there's the number. All right, you see it? Just put it on pause and write it down. There's one. This was about the first book, The World is a Mudfossil, which it's made of them. There's no question about that. And here's the one I just got in today. All right, there's the ISBN number. And this is Mudfossils and Titans of our world. And they were here. They were here. They were here. All right, thank you, Paul. And I would like it if you get a hold of me, my friend. We'll talk. We'll have some discussions about this. It's pretty nicely done, you know. I have no complaints. Nothing I can see that I can complain about, which is unusual for me. Thank you, Paul, and thank you all. I love you.